Welcome to CEC online lecture. I am Dr. Parveen Sharma. Today in this session, I will be speaking to you on the topic Education and Social Change, Obstacles, Theories and Impact. Second part. We know that social change is inevitable and it is in the benefit of individual and society as a whole. But we see that there are some obstacles which hinder the social change, which hinder the social progress. So I will mention these obstacles and then I will discuss with you in detail one by one. These obstacles are old beliefs, cultural inertia, cultural isolation, natural inertia, vested interest, fatalism, superstitions, religion, habits, customs, and fear of new things. These are some of the obstacles which hinder the social change and which comes in the way of social progress and social development. Let us discuss these obstacles one by one. If we talk about old beliefs, it may be the field of science or it may be the field of religion or any area. The old beliefs always come in the way of accepting the new ideas. We know the great person Galileo is the example in this area. We all are aware what happened when Galileo gave his different views. People were not agreeing to accept his ideas which were right, which were correct, because people were attached to their old beliefs. So by this example, we are very much clear that people, when are attached to their old beliefs, they are reluctant to accept the social change which hinders as an obstacle the social progress and social development. Further, another obstacle is cultural inertia. What is cultural inertia? Most of the time people are attached to the values and traditions which have been transmitted to them from one generation to another, or which they have received from their ancestors, and when there occurs any change in any area, they are not ready to accept the changes because they are attached to those traditions, because they have been transmitted from their parents to them. It creates obstacle in the social change. Then after this cultural inertia, I will discuss with you the cultural isolation. Sometime a tendency of particular class or particular caste or particular society that they try to keep themselves separate from the other class, from other caste or from other society. They are not ready to mix with the other people or other caste, and they want to remain in themselves. This is known as cultural isolation because they do not want to mix up with the people of other caste and class. This is really a great obstacle in the social progress. If I talk about natural inertia, if people in a society are contented and they are happy with whatever they have, money wise or employment wise or whatever facilities they have, they say we are content with it, then that contentment, if that contentment is there, the people become lazy and they do not have a tendency to work more. They will shirk the work and they will not be ready to work hard. So it will hinder the progress of themselves and the society as a whole also. Then If I talk about the another obstacle, that is the vested interest. If there is a custom which fulfills the vested interest of particular group of people, then if the change occurs they are not ready. Suppose here I talk about the dowry system. Of course it is a social evil, but if there is a family who is getting much dowry, then they will be satisfying their need, and in that case they will not be opposing the evil of dowry system. So when vested interest comes to the forefront, it hinders the progress of the society. Then I talk about fatalism as an obstacle in the social change. When people have strong faith in their fate, then they leave all the efforts, they do not work, and they feel that the success or the money or the employment and whatever they want in the life, it will come to them if it is in their destiny, if it is in their fate. So they will leave the work, and this faith or this tendency of fatalism of the people act as an obstacle in the social change. Then further, if I talk about superstitions, people have inherited some of the beliefs and traditions and customs from their ancestors, and they are not ready to change from those superstitions. It is difficult to remove the superstitions from the mind of the people because they are attached to this belief that we have been following since tradition, since our family follow this, so we have to follow. Then education is also ineffective to change that kind of superstitions of the people. Then if I talk about religion, from religion all have learned that we should be satisfied, we should be contented. So when this kind of feelings or emotions or thoughts we have learned from our religion, then what will happen? Then the person may become coward, in the sense they will hesitate to raise the voice against the injustice, or when their rights are being exploited they are not ready to raise the voice. So what will happen? They think all will settle down automatically. So this is again an obstacle in the way of social change. Then habits and customs. Sometimes people get attached to their emotions, their habits, and do not accept the changes. This is again an obstacle. Then fear of new things. When changes occur in this society, people are afraid of accepting the changes or the new ideas, and they oppose because they are afraid of it. They fear their security. What will happen if I am accepting these changes? So they oppose the changes. So these are various obstacles which come in the way of the social change. After discussing the various obstacles, I would like to discuss various theories of social change which have been given by various educationists. They are technological theory, economic theory, ideological theory, evolutionary theory, purposeful theory, and spiritualistic theory, cyclic theory, multi-factor theory, and structural functional theory. Let us discuss something more about these theories one by one. Let me proceed further to discuss more about these theories of social change, because through discussion of these theories given by various educationists, we can have or we can form an opinion about the social changes, how they have occurred in the past. If In the beginning, I talk about technological theory. William Ogburn, the great educationist, gave this theory. According to him, technological development bring changes in society. When there are some changes in the science, in technology, some inventions or discoveries take place, then the social change will occur, and the thinking, ideals, and the living style of the people of that society will also get affected. Then, if I talk about economic theory, when people change their occupation, it changes the lives and brings social changes. So it is your occupation through this angle that which brings the change. Then what do the ideological theories said? The ideas of great men have brought social changes in the past also. Like, for example, if I talk about Gandhism and socialism, the birth of the great men like Gandhi and others have brought changes in the lifestyle and ideology of the people a lot. Then, if I talk about evolutionary theory, according to Spencer, social change are progressive and in a sequence, meaning by in a sequence the evolution takes place. Then the next is the purposeful theory. We are discussing in brief all the theories. According to Karl Marx, there are more purposes before a person, and to fulfill those aims, goals, and objectives, one uses intellect and willpower and bring social changes, because when there, according to Karl Marx, when there are more than one desires or goals before a person, then one tries to fulfill, and in the fulfillment or accomplishment of these goals, what one does, one uses his or her own intellect and willpower, and that are enough to bring social change. Then further is the spiritualistic theory. Toynbee has said that belief in spirituality can turn the society to spiritualism, and belief in, for example, if the society believe in materialistic approach, society will turn towards materialism. So according to spiritualistic theory, when the people in a particular society turns to spiritualism, their ideas will be like that. If I talk about cyclic theory, Spengler and Sorokin, the great educationist, advocated for this theory. According to this theory, the point from where a society starts toward the improvement or towards the progress, then after reaching at the highest peak, at the highest point, what happens? The society again comes back to the point where the society or one individual has started. Spengler, in his book The Decline of the West, explained a cycle of events covering the both maturity and each of the historical entities. Then the other is the multi-factor theory. According to Sorokin, economic, social, cultural, and political factors may bring changes jointly. Here, more than one factors combine with each other and jointly bring the changes. Then the last, which I discussed with you, is the structural functional theory. It was propounded by Parson and Martin. According to this theory, social system consists of two aspects, that is structural and functionalism. Structure refers to units and organs which are related in a manner. If there occurs a change in one organ or unit, it will change in another also. Functional refers to various agencies like family, marriage and religion. When they combine and some change occurs, it has been considered that it brings the social change. Now, after discussing the obstacles in the social change and theories of social change, the last important part is the impact of social change on education, because in the beginning also I spoke to you that education and social change, they influence each other. So we will see how first the impact of social change on education. As there occurs the changes in the society, accordingly the aims of education will be influenced. For example, we have aims of education: increasing in productivity, achieving social and national integration, acceleration in the process of modernization, and cultivating social, moral and spiritual values. These changes in the education has been brought up by the social changes in the society. Then the curriculum is always affected by social change. Whatever desires occur in the society, those changes will be reflected in the curriculum, because always the planners and framers of the curriculum keep in mind the changes which are occurring in the society and which are demands of the society. Then methods of changing are also according to the changes in society have been changed. Earlier, the form of society was different, then the education system was teacher centered, but now the system has been changed. It has become pupil oriented. Now, discipline, we focus on self discipline. Then the teacher and school administration is also affected by the social changes which are occurring in the society. Now we will see what is the impact of education on social change. We have discussed and we have seen the impact of social change on education. Now we will see what is the impact of education on social change. See, in order to bring desired changes and take the society towards modernization, number of means, instruments, institutions, agents or agencies are employed, because no single agent or agency can bring its impact on the social change. So I have mentioned the various agent and agencies which bring social change. But among all these agents and agencies, the education is the most important instrument which bring the social change. I will mention those effects, like in changing the attitude, in creating desire for social change, overcoming resistance to change, analysis of change, in adopting social change, emergence of new changes, enhancing knowledge, perpetualizing eternal values, transmission of culture. Now, after mentioning these points, I will be trying to explain these points one by one in detail. First, if in mentioning the impact of education on social change, I will discuss with you the point that is in changing attitude. When the changes occur in the society, we have to change the mindset of the individual in a way that we have to educate our youngster to change their attitude, to remove superstitions, to inculcate secularism by eradicating class and caste differences from the society. Education brings coordination between various groups, because we have to teach through education our students that how to get ready to accept these changes, how to change the attitude. As we know, these days the country is facing the problem of pandemic, that is COVID-19. So through education we have to make our students aware how to change their attitude and how to come out of this problem. That's why online courses are being beneficial to change the attitude of the learners and to make them educated. Then, in creating desire for change, education creates a desire to bring change, which bring awareness in people to eradicate social evils like gambling, dowry, and bonded labor, etc. Then, further impact of education on social change is overcoming resistance to change, because just now, few minutes back, I spoke to you that people are attached to their old traditions and beliefs and they are not ready to accept the changes. So, this is the education only which helps the individual to change their mind, to change their resistance to accept the change, because people oppose to the changes because they are attached to their old traditions. So education helps in controlling the factors which create obstacles in social progress. It also helps in leaving the mindset, meaning by sometime people have their mindset that these are the ideas, I have to follow these because they are emotionally attached to these and they are not ready to accept the changes. So this is the education only which makes the people aware to accept the changes and overcome the resistance toward the change. Then analysis of change. It provides cognitive power to a person to discriminate between right and wrong. Education determines the values which become criteria for analyzing social change. How one has to decide, how one has to analyze what is right, what is wrong. So, my dear friends, this is education only which sets the criteria on the basis of which one can determine what is right and what is wrong. In adopting social change, education helps people in making adjustment with the new changes. Moreover, people start believing that these changes will be beneficial. Then if I talk about emergence of new changes as an impact of education on social change, education initiates, motivates and controls the movement for social improvement. Then enhancing knowledge, education makes the new researches and invention possible. It provides knowledge to see the things critically and come to reality, which brings social change. Then perpetualizing eternal values. There are always some eternal values in a society. If these eternal values in this society start declining, what will happen? Definitely, if the eternal values in a society starts declining, what will happen? This society will move to decay and depletion, which is not good, which is not beneficial, or which is not in the benefit of an individual. Then transmission of culture. This is education only which transmit the sanskars, values and good traditions from one generation to another. Education is the creator, generator and director of all social changes. Lastly, we can say that education helps in stabilizing democratic values. It inculcates in people the values like equality, brotherhood, justice, secularism, and living in harmony. Moreover, national integration, economic prosperity, national development, and all progress in science and trade is possible through education. So, it leaves a great impact on social change. And in the end, when we have come to know how the social change has its impact on education and how education has its impact on social change, meaning by we have come to know that both has its impact on each other. In brief, I will discuss with you what should be the role of teacher. Yes, model of modernity. It is expected from a teacher. Teacher can play an active role in bringing social change. If he or she has assimilated the values in him or herself, in the behavior, the values like scientific attitude, dynamism, democratic style, secularism, justice, living in harmony. These are the values. If we want to teach these values to our students, teacher first will have to show as a model of modernity for the students. Then reorientation. To speed up the process of social change, teacher has to do his or her orientation first. Then psychological environment. A skilled teacher must create psychological environment for new values and attitude. If teacher wants that his or her students must adjust to the environment, must learn the new values and attitude, then first the teacher has to create such kind of environment in the class so that students are willingly come to accept these ideas, these changes. Then ready to accept changes. When a teacher wants from his or her students that they should accept the changes, first the teacher has to show in his or her behavior that he or she is always ready to accept the changes, because he should not behave, she should not behave as an authority. Students can be right, so teacher should be in a position to accept the ideas of the students also. Teacher lastly is expected to play an active role in developing a critical, scientific and positive attitude before the students. Our teacher can certainly play a vital role in bringing social change. If they want that their students should initiate positive social changes, they themselves must have virtues like empathy, social sensitivity, and risk taking capacities. So, we need teachers with a progressive vision of modernity. Only then they can involve the students in generating the process of social change. So, by now, I hope, I believe that to my listeners, it is clear that what are the theories of social change, what are the obstacles in it, and how the education and social change influence each other, what is the impact of one on the another and vice versa, and what should be the role of teacher. Thank you.